That summer, the clear blue skies stretched across the majestic Colorado mountains in the United States. A man named Ethan decided to spend his vacation exploring the wild mountain passes there. He prepared tents, food, and survival gear for a week-long adventure. On the morning of the second day, Ethan walked through the fiery red rocks, heading towards a deep canyon. As he approached the steep cliff, he suddenly heard a faint growl echoing from below. Looking down, Ethan discovered a brown bear clinging to the edge of the cliff at risk of falling into the rushing stream below. The bear was clearly exhausted, its hind legs trembling as it tried to keep itself from sliding down. Without hesitation, Ethan pulled a rope from his backpack and tied it tightly to a large tree nearby. He approached the edge of the cliff, grabbing a small branch for support. The bear looked at him with both panic and fragile hope. Ethan tried to calm the animal with a gentle voice, although he himself was trembling with fear of heights. He tied one end of the rope around his waist, then threw the other end toward the bear. Luckily, the bear understood and tried to hold onto the rope with its claws. With all his strength, Ethan began to pull the bear up little by little. However, the bear's weight made the rope tighten around his waist, causing him pain. He gritted his teeth and endured, persistently pulling until the bear was halfway up the cliff. Seeing that the bear was about to climb up, Ethan reached out and grabbed his front leg, giving it more support. After a while, the bear finally climbed up safely, its mouth open and gasping for breath. Ethan was exhausted and sat down on the ground, his heart pounding with a mixture of anxiety and relief. The bear turned its head to look at Ethan, showing no signs of attack or aggression. It growled softly, seemingly expressing its gratitude to the man who had just saved it. Ethan slowly backed away, giving the bear space to calm down and realize that he was not a threat. A magical moment occurred when the bear approached, gently touching Ethan's hand with its nose as a thank you. He never thought he would touch a wild bear in such a friendly way. He felt the thick, frayed, gray-brown fur on its body. The bear looked like it had been through a lot in the harsh, rocky environment. After a few minutes, the bear walked away slowly, turned its head to look at Ethan once more, and disappeared behind the trees. Ethan smiled softly, silently hoping that the animal would continue to live well in the wild. 3 days later, Ethan continued his journey, passing through many dense forests and winding streams. As night fell, he pitched his tent by the bank of a gentle stream, enjoying a simple dinner of canned meat and bread. In the middle of the night, the howling of wolves echoed throughout the mountains and forests, waking Ethan up. He felt uneasy and hurried outside to light a fire to scare away the wild animals. The fire flickered weakly in the wind, not strong enough to make the wolves retreat. The sound of branches breaking signaled that the wolves were very close. Ethan looked around, seeing only the silhouettes of green eyes hidden behind the bushes. He grabbed the long stick beside him, trying to stay calm despite his pounding heart. The wolves slowly moved closer, their fangs bared in the moonlight. Ethan knew he was in a dangerous situation, with nowhere to run. He walked backward, hoping to lean against a large rock to avoid being attacked from behind. 7 wolves, skinny but fierce, advanced at the same time, surrounding him. Their eyes were hungry, ready to pounce on their prey. At that moment, a loud roar rang out, causing the pack of wolves to stop. From behind the bushes, the brown-furred bear from that day appeared, standing still like a guardian angel. It roared, clearly showing its intention to protect Ethan, making the pack of wolves wary. The wolves began to bare their fangs and growl in response, unwilling to give up their territory. The bear did not retreat, raising its large body and slamming its front paws into the ground. The ground shook slightly, and the pack of wolves fearfully took a few steps back. Ethan could hardly believe his eyes, remembering the time he had saved the bear on the cliff. It seemed like the bear was returning the favor, determined to protect him at all costs. The pack of wolves still refused to give up. One of them recklessly rushed forward to test its strength. The bear immediately swung its claws, knocking the wolf away. A miserable groan rang out. Seeing its fellow wolf being attacked, the pack faltered and began to disperse. The fire from Ethan's bonfire also flared up, causing the pack of wolves to panic even more. Finally, the wolves decided to leave, disappearing into the silent night mist, leaving Ethan with a pounding heart. The bear stood there, its calm eyes watching the wolves until they vanished. Ethan slowly approached the bear, half wanting to thank it, half still wary of its immense strength. The bear raised its head, no longer ferocious, and growled softly as if to reassure him. Ethan knelt down, placed his hand on the bear's head, and softly expressed his gratitude in his heart. At that moment, he realized there was still a magical bond between humans and nature. The bear turned around, walking slowly toward the woods like a shadow quietly fading into the night. Ethan shuddered as he remembered the life-threatening situation he had just faced. If it weren't for the bear, he might have lost his life. The next morning, he packed his things, deciding to leave the woods earlier than expected. On the way back to town, Ethan kept thinking about the favor he had just received from that wild animal. He stopped at a roadside cafe, sharing his thrilling story with a few locals. They were amazed because not everyone was lucky enough to be rescued by a bear. An old man who had lived in the area for many years whispered to him, "That was a rare blessing from nature." Ethan smiled, thinking to himself that he had truly connected with a wild creature through faith and courage. Every time he looked up the Colorado mountains, he remembered the warm brown eyes of the bear on the cliff. He promised himself to always live in harmony with nature, cherishing all the animals on the vast land of America. And deep in his heart, he believed that the bear was still roaming freely on the hillsides, ready to protect the good things just as it had done for him. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.